afternoon, and welcome to AIADA's AutoTalk. I'm your host, Rachel Soleimani. Before we get started, a few quick reminders as always. Anyone that is registered for today's program will be receiving a copy by the end of this week. And if you have any questions, feel free to enter them into the Q&A bar in the lower right-hand side of your interface. Now, please join me in welcoming Angela Drake, Senior Research Manager at Cox Automotive. Angela did an auto talk for us in April, discussing how to take the guesswork out of your digital strategy, and she's back again today to share the latest insights into content influence. Angela, I am going to stop talking and let you take it away.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Over the next 25 minutes or so, we'll talk about one of the most important tools that you can have in your marketing toolkit, and that's content marketing. Now, I'm sure all of you listening have heard that phrase, content is king, and that's a saying coined by Bill Gates nearly 30 years ago. At that time, it was the rise of the internet that forever changed consumer behaviors and pushed content marketing into the mainstream. Fast forward to now, and content marketing is once again in the forefront and really is gaining significant momentum. With the pandemic a shift to e-commerce, many businesses across all industries are rethinking how to most effectively connect with consumers through relevant content. For this webinar, my goal is to share insights that will help you better understand how content marketing can effectively influence consumers across each stage of their automotive journey. But before we dive into the research, we must quickly talk about what is meant by the term content marketing. Here is the definition used by the Content Marketing Institute. Content marketing is a technique of creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and acquire a clearly defined audience with the objective of driving profitable customer action. Now, this is just one definition of many that I'm sure you have seen from various sources. But one theme across all of the definitions is that content marketing is about education and not promotion. The key word here is valuable. It's tempting to just publish content for the sake of having content out there. I think as marketers, we have all felt that way at some point. But if the content we provide doesn't add value to a consumer's journey, then it likely won't be effective. I know even with this definition and explanation, you're probably still wondering what exactly is content marketing. So we can get more clarity by considering a few specific examples to automotive. Consumer ratings and reviews is the most well-known of these examples, but others include lists of best vehicle models, side-by-side comparisons of vehicle models, online video reviews from experts, online test drive videos from experts, official expert ratings and reviews, and also articles about vehicles, about new technology, and about new features. Now, it's fair to say that maintaining a blog won't necessarily drive a customer straight to your dealership like an advertisement or a special offer. However, it is monumentally important nonetheless. And as I mentioned before, one of the most important tools in your marketing toolkit if it's executed correctly. Unfortunately, there are a few common misconceptions about content marketing, one being that results are instantaneous. If you have experience with content marketing, you know well that this is a myth. Content marketing really is about the long game. In other words, it's a marathon, not a sprint. On this slide, I'm showing some of the key benefits of content marketing. Let's take a minute to go through each one. The first benefit is to build customer trust and loyalty. When you give your customers free access to high-quality information, it demonstrates that you value them. You're willing to share your knowledge and your expertise without asking them to make a purchase first. As a result, trust is built before you even know the potential client exists, and it becomes less of a necessity to engage in any high-pressure sales tactics. Number 2, improve your SEO. So according to our car buyer journey study, 34% of buyers in 2021 use Google at some point in their shopping process. For this reason, I'm sure many times you feel your dealership's website's visibility is really at the mercy of Google's algorithm. The good news is that content marketing can give you an edge over your competitors in search engine rankings. First, the length of content marketing assets like articles, blogs, guides, these all provide more opportunities to include keywords, but it can also help reduce your website's bounce rate. The third benefit is reaching more people. Content marketing helps your dealership reach a larger audience by distributing content across a variety of digital channels. So, for example, good content can be disseminated on your social media accounts and will, over time, generate more shares, views, likes, comments, and followers, really powering your social media engine. According to We Are Social's Digital 2022 report, the number of active social media users in the US grew by nearly 13% in 2021 to over 270 million. Now, this accounts for 81% of the population. Finally, our last benefit is increasing your website traffic. If you're struggling to drive traffic to your website, you're not alone. Again, according to our Car Buyer Journey study, approximately 6 in 10 buyers in 2021 visited a dealership website while shopping for a vehicle, and that percentage hasn't changed significantly over time. This means 4 in 10 buyers aren't visiting a dealership website prior to making a purchase. Not surprisingly, having quality content that's updated on a regular basis is key to increasing website traffic. It gives consumers a reason to visit over and over again. An exceptional automotive content marketing strategy really reaches a consumer in all stages of their journey. It accompanies them as a valuable resource in all instances, whether they are a shopper in market for a vehicle in the explore, consider, select, or buy stage, or an owner in the own stage looking for general car information. Content marketing allows you to cover all parts of the journey at one time. Let's begin by looking at the role of content marketing during the shopping process of the consumer journey. Our team here at Cox Automotive recently partnered with research experts at GfK on our 2022 content influence study. Based on surveys among over 2,000 new vehicle buyers and shoppers, we found that an overwhelming 83% use content marketing sources when researching their upcoming vehicle purchase. Notably, this percentage is down from 88% in 2021, and this is likely the result of consumer shopping behaviors starting to normalize as we begin to put the pandemic in our rearview mirror. Regardless, a whopping 86% of consumers said they plan to use content marketing sources again when researching future vehicle purchases. And this trend is not unique to automotive. In a recent study by Lucid Press, 85% of marketers surveyed report an increase in demand for content among their customers over the last year, giving many businesses good reason to increase their content marketing budgets even more in 2022. Of course, we would not be experiencing such a rapid surge in demand for content marketing if consumers didn't find it helpful. Earlier, we talked about the key to content marketing is that it adds value through education. If it doesn't add value, then it's really not content marketing. As part of our new study, we asked new vehicle shoppers and buyers to tell us if they would describe the shopping sources they used as informative, useful, valuable, trustworthy, reliable, unbiased, or objective and personalized. We then grouped together the sources they used into 2 overarching categories, one being content marketing sources and the other being non-content marketing sources. By looking at the data in this way, we can see any noticeable differences in how the 2 types of marketing sources are perceived. Right away, you'll notice that content marketing is 2 times more likely to be described as unbiased or objective. Not surprisingly, these sources also stand out as more valuable and informative than non-content marketing sources. You may have also noticed one critical area for improvement, which is personalization. Only 27% of shoppers and buyers said the content marketing sources they used were personalized. It's the only area where we see content marketing sources underperform against non-content marketing sources. Now, remember back to our definition at the start, which said content marketing was the creation and distribution of valuable and relevant content. Increasingly, consumers expect content to be personalized. In fact, the consultants at McKinsey found that 71% of consumers expect personalized interactions, and nearly all of them get frustrated when this doesn't happen. And automotive buyers, as we know, are no exception. Now, let's say that you're creating valuable content marketing assets, and as a result, you're seeing that positive impact to your website traffic, to your social engagement metrics, and to your customer loyalty. All this is great, but what we really want to know is, will content marketing help you sell more vehicles? Through our research, nearly all new vehicle shoppers and buyers told us that content marketing influenced their decisions about what vehicle to purchase. Over half reported that content marketing was, in fact, highly influential. And as you can see on this slide, the level of influence is the same regardless of where you are in the process. This means that content marketing has just as much influence on someone who is in the buy stage and ready to make a deal as it does on someone who is in the explore stage and has just started their shopping process. Now, of course, the content that is considered valuable or relevant is not the same across the stages, and we'll talk more about that in a few slides. But before we do, let's talk for a minute about content formats. Ultimately, the content you create can take a number of forms, some of which you'll read, like case studies, white papers, and infographics, and some of which are more interactive, like webinars, podcasts, and videos. To help us better understand where content marketers should invest in 2022, we asked shoppers to tell us what they prefer the most, content that you read or content that you watch. The results, which are shown on this slide, tell us that shoppers today have a higher preference for consuming content through videos. We all know the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words, so a video must be worth all the words in the English language. So for that reason, video is the #1 area that content marketers expect to invest in 2022, and that's according to the Content Marketing Institute. Just don't forget to consider the audience you want to reach when deciding what format you want to use. There are differences by demographic groups and other types of demographic subgroups. For example, Gen Z and millennials tend to favor videos, while Gen X and baby boomers are most likely to prefer reading instead. This leads us into the part of our discussion about what types of content are most effective. As part of our study, we looked at what content marketing sources have the greatest influence over vehicle selection, and there have been significant shifts over the last 2 years. It's not surprising to see online videos move up in the rankings. Now they're in the top 3. In particular, we found online test drive videos from an expert to be significantly more influential this year. Content like test drive videos allows consumers to engage in that immersive digital experience as the purchase process moves more online. If you visit YouTube, you can find many examples of online test drive videos created by dealerships. Consumer ratings and reviews remain at the top of the list as well. Although today's shoppers rate them as less influential than what we saw in 2020, other content that we also found to be less influential include those side-by-side model comparisons and articles about vehicles, new technology, and new features. Now we look at this same data, but this time by stage, to understand how content needs vary across the shopping journey. Overall, our top 3 most influential content marketing sources are consumer ratings and reviews, online video reviews from an expert, and online test drive videos from an expert. However, each shopping stage has its own unique top 3. For example, top lists, such as top 10 SUVs, That moves into the top 3 for shoppers who are in the consider stage, who are actively building their consideration set. It's really important to understand these differences so you can deliver diversified content that addresses the needs of shoppers at each part of the journey. The result of this is really a more comprehensive and more personalized experience. Notably, online video reviews from an expert is a source that is valuable across all of the stages. As we close out our section on the shopping journey, I want to dedicate a few more minutes to video because video marketing is not what it used to be a few years ago. Today, it is much more effective. And while there are a number of reasons, the primary one is that more and more businesses are using videos to tell stories. They're finding out firsthand how digital storytelling can help them stand out from the competition. According to our research, 60% of new vehicle shoppers clicked on an automotive video to learn more about a vehicle. They then either conducted additional research, changed their consideration set, or even visited a dealership after seeing the video. With results like that, it's easy to see why dealers are searching for the best way to utilize video to promote their vehicles in their dealerships. As part of our recent study, we gave new vehicle buyers and shoppers a list of 5 types of video content and asked which of the following creators they would prefer for each of them. Is it OEMs, dealers, or third-party websites? As you can see, OEMs top the list for 3 out of the 5 items, making them the most preferred creator for videos on new models, in-depth reviews on specific models, and performance demonstrations on specific models. Third-party sites were preferred for videos comparing similar models, and dealers are by far the most preferred creator for videos on deals and incentives. Now, interestingly, when it comes to video reviews on specific models, Gen Z buyers and shoppers have a significantly higher preference to see this content from dealers. In fact, among this age group, dealers are actually the most preferred creator for these types of videos, just edging out OEMs. So the next time you're brainstorming content marketing ideas for your social media accounts, consider creating virtual tours for some of your new models. Show all the vantage points of the vehicle, the interior, and close-up shots of unique features. And keep in mind that a virtual vehicle tour is also helpful in showcasing your used models as well. Now, while your inventory is the focus of your video marketing content, because after all, the goal is to sell more vehicles here, there's more to the car buying process than the vehicle itself. Customers want to know about your staff, your customer experience, and your values. So other ideas for video content include a tour of your showroom, or maybe a video that allows customers to meet your sales staff. Finally, the most important guideline to remember when creating video marketing content is to know the needs of your audience. You don't want to leave them feeling disappointed because you didn't keep their concerns at the forefront when planning out your video. According to our research, consumers aren't looking for a lot of special effects or entertainment. Again, the point is to add value to their journey, and that's accomplished by giving them content which they find informative, simple, informational, and educational. This brings us to how content marketing can help retain and acquire customers in your local area who are in the ownership phase of their journey. So that's right, content marketing isn't just about selling vehicles. Savvy dealers are also leveraging it for their service department. Based on data we collected last year among 2,000 or over 2,000 vehicle owners, we know that around 1 in 3 service visits are done at the dealership. That's 2 in 3 visits completed by a competitor, and this hasn't changed in years. For this reason, dealer service centers can't be passive in their marketing efforts. Over the next few slides, I'll share with you the types of service-related content vehicle owners look for online and the information they expect to find when visiting your website. As we all know, the convenience afforded by the digitization of car buying has created a consumer appetite for the digitization of the ownership experience. In 2021, over 1 in 3 vehicle owners told us they use the internet to help with service-related questions or activities. Not surprisingly, the number one reason these owners used the internet was to schedule a service appointment. Also on the list are activities such as finding out a service department's hours of operation, their phone number, their address. But I want to call your attention to the activities I've highlighted in blue, which are researching a specific problem with your vehicle, look for information or how-to videos on vehicle updates, and consumer reviews. All of these are content marketing opportunities. Other opportunities include putting out there repair videos, general car care information. Did you know blog posts? What about reviews of car care products? These are just to name a few, and honestly, the ideas are really endless if you just get a little creative. Now, according to our research, the pages of your website showcasing your service department are more important now than ever before. Consumers view your website as a hub for digital communication and a source for information. When asked, a majority of vehicle owners told us that it is important for a dealership website to include OEM recall, maintenance, and repair information. Half feel it is also important for dealers to provide consumer ratings and reviews. With consumer expectations around digital experiences continuing to rise, now is the time to jump on board. On this slide, I've overlaid the percentage of dealers who currently offer this content on their website today. Nearly half say they offer consumer ratings and reviews, but the percentages go down from there. A third or less of dealers provide their customers with the OEM recall, maintenance, and repair information that consumers feel is so important. Now, as we wrap up our time together, I want to leave you with a few closing thoughts, some keys to being successful at content marketing. These keys to success can be placed in two categories, those related to process and those related to content. Our first key to success is to have a documented content marketing strategy. The Content Marketing Institute has found that having a documented strategy is highly correlated with success because it aligns your team around common goals. It makes it easier to determine which types of content to develop, and it keeps the team focused on documented priorities. Our second key to success is have employees dedicated to content marketing. Now, I know this one is difficult for everyone, but especially for smaller organizations. However, research shows that having dedicated resources is a common characteristic across companies that are the most successful at content marketing. You need someone who owns the function and is responsible for keeping content up to date. The third key to success is to prioritize consumer information needs over promotional message. This is one we've talked about quite a bit today already. Just remember that it isn't considered content marketing unless it provides value to your customer. The fourth key to success is to differentiate content from the competition. I'm sure all of your dealerships have a niche. There are things that distinguish you and your dealership from the rest of your competitors in the minds of your audience. So tap into these things every time you create a piece of content. And then the final key to success, our fifth one, is to craft content based on stages of the consumer journey. This is also something we've discussed at length today. By diversifying your content across each stage of the journey, your experience will be more personalized to your customer. So with that, I just want to say how much I appreciate your time today, and I'm also happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Angela, thanks so much for joining us today. Again, we really love having you on, and hopefully we can get you on in the fall. If anyone has any questions for Angela, you can send them to me and I will pass them along to her. And again, you will all be receiving a copy of this webinar by the end of this week. This was the last of our webinars for the summer. We'll see you back here on September 8th at 2 p.m. Eastern as Charlie Chesbrough kicks off our fall series with his quarterly market update. For more information about AIADA, visit aiada.org. Thanks for tuning in and have a great summer, everyone.